Dev Sahni here for Queensberry Promotions, and I'm joined by the head honcho, Mr. Frank Warren himself. Frank, how you doing today, boss?
I'm doing fine, Dev. How are you, mate?
I'm okay. So we're back in Leeds. I love it in Leeds, you love it in Leeds. But the Takoosh fight, is it a potential banana skin for Josh Warrington?
Well, I hope not. I mean, the last 6 months or so, that's all we've seen with these so-called, on paper, going to be routine defences. We see it with AJ. Even Tyson against Wallin, although he won the fight, I mean that was a bad cut, and it could have changed the whole heavyweight scene if that had gone wrong for him. And even the weekend, Golovkin and Derevyanchenko. I mean that was a very, very close fight, and people varied opinions who won that. I thought he might have just nicked it, but the bottom line is. You can't take anything for granted. He's fighting the highest available contender in the IBF when we made the fight, and he's got to be at his best to win it.
Have you got any concerns, sort of, as his promoter, because it's not a name too well known to the public, that Josh has taken his eye off the ball a little bit?
No. His dad and Josh himself, Sean who trains him, his dad, they're thorough professionals. I mean, they don't leave a stone unturned, and he knows he's performing in front of his home fans. He'd never take them for granted. He gives 100% every time. So I'm expecting to see something spectacular from him. At least I hope that's what it's going to be. But that's what I think it'll be. He's trained for this like he'll be training for unification fight.
Feels like people are leaving the featherweight division sort of every day. Valdez has gone up. Santa Cruz has gone up. Is this because of Josh Warrington, Frank?
I'd like to think so, yeah. I mean, listen, none of them want to fight him, that's for sure. We've tried to make the fights, and maybe that's the case. So we've got to see after this fight how the land lies for Josh, providing he comes through. We don't want to tempt fate, but he comes through it okay. And maybe he may move up in weight. I'm not sure yet. It's a conversation we're going to have.
There's a few movements on the WBA side of it. So Santa Cruz was the champion, the super champion. I don't know if there's a super duper champion as well, but he was the super champion. He's gone up to fight at super featherweight.
Yeah.
There's a fellow called Can Zhu, who's the regular champ. He may well get upgraded. Could that be a kind of unification route for Josh?
It's a unification, isn't it? If we can make that, we'd do that. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. It's he's not there by accident, Zhu. It's a fight. Hopefully, as I say, if he comes through, it's another one we could look at. I've got no problem with that. I've got no problem with that at all. Anything Zhu can do, Josh can do better.
Anything you can do, Josh can do that. That's brilliant. Talk to me about the rest of the card then. So, Zelfa Barrett, Jordan McCrory. You seem to be using Jordan McCrory against all your super featherweights at the moment. How's Zelfa going to get on against him?
Well, we'll see. I love Jordan. I love watching him. He's just so competitive. I mean, he just don't come to make up the numbers, does he? He comes to tear your head off. So for Zelfa, he's going to be at the top of his game, and I think we get a nice little fight out of that.
And then who's Jordan McCrory going to fight after?
Josh. No, we'll see what happens.
Lyndon Arthur. Now, it feels like a lot of the talk in the last couple of years has been about Anthony Yarde, Joshua Buatsi, and this guy's been going away kind of working in the shadows. This is his chance, isn't it?
It certainly is. He's really looking good, and I'm quite impressed how he's come through. Pat's done a fantastic job in Pat Barrett, and he'll be knocking on the door, won't he, of these guys now. And it's a very sexy division in this country. Besides all the guys that we've got, and you think Willie Hutchinson's come up and he's coming through the ranks. He's looking brilliant. And then you've got Joshua Buatsi on the other side. There's some great fights to be made there.
Can you see a Yarde Arthur fight ever happening?
Look, at the moment, he proved that he belongs in world class, Anthony. So that's what and I say we're meeting on Monday with him, and Tunde, we're going to go through this and see where we're at. But he's in a position now where he'll be wanting to fight again for a world title. Maybe that fight sometime next year will happen, or one of those fights with a domestic opponent. But at the moment, we're looking to, after the performance he had where he was very unlucky not to have become world champion, to make sure that he's up there and rated in the top 3 or 4 to get him a couple of wins and hopefully get him into the number 1 spot again. And
then he can go for a world title next year.
Exactly.
I want to talk to you about a couple of the other fighters on the card. So you've got a guy who's making his debut for us. It'll be his 6th fight, and he's got a bit of a swell of support online. Shabazz Massoud. What do we know about this kid?
Well, I've got to be honest with you, I've not seen a lot of him. But the people I respect in this business and the reports I get back, he's like something extra special. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him in action. He's on TV, he's on BT, so all the fans can, if you're not there, you can see for yourself if he's the real deal. But the reports and all that I'm hearing is that he is.
I keep hearing whispers of the next Naz. That'd be all right, wouldn't it?
Well, there's a few of them carrying that little moniker at the moment, and if he does that, if he's half as good as Naz, we'll be delighted. You know, and it's like I looked at him a couple of weeks ago when he fought on the card. Young Dennis the Menace, he's got Naz written all over him. So if we've got, Shabazz as well, we can't be complaining about that, can we? That's great for the game and certainly great for Queensberry and BT.
Love it. And what about George Davey? So he's making his pro debut. Henry Wharton's protege. Yeah. That's an exciting one to look out for.
Well, I've promoted Henry many years ago against Nigel Benn, and you couldn't meet a nicer bloke. And he has been in the business a long time, training guys, and he phoned me up, and this is the first time he's phoned me about a fighter that he's involved with. And he speaks volumes about him, and I've looked at some of the stuff, some of the footage of him, and he looks the goods. He does look the goods, and I'm really sort of thrilled about him being on our books and making his debut.
There's a few. Josh Warrington's not going to be around forever in Yorkshire, but he's led a kind of resurgence in Yorkshire. Who do you think could step in to kind of fill his boots? Could it be this George Davey character?
Could be him, hopefully it will be. And Sean's doing really well at the gym. He's got some good youngsters there, and we love coming up here in Leeds. They've been very responsive to to the resurgence of boxing in the area, and we feel that we've been instrumental as promoters in getting it back off the ground, and we want to continue to do so. Obviously with Josh, but as you say, when Josh eventually retires undefeated with all those belts, then there'll be the new young kids on the block coming through, and we'll be promoting them here. This is an area that we really have a strong affinity to, and we really enjoy promoting it, and we will continue to do so.
So for anyone on the fence about coming on Saturday, I understand there's a handful of tickets left.
Get off the fence and get down the box office, and there's a few tickets, as you say, left. Buy the tickets and come and have a good night, because it's going to be a great night. You're going to see some, you see in my opinion, the best featherweight in the world. In my opinion, and I always think my opinion's right. And then you've got all these youngsters. I know you do, mate. You've got no choice. And then you've got all these youngsters coming through, haven't we? And so they'll be coming through, and you can see them. And start some of them maybe their journey into becoming world champions. It's going to be a good night and a great atmosphere there. And I hope if you can get there. If you can't, it's on BT. Watch it.
We look forward to it. Saturday night, BT Sport, Leeds Arena. Josh Warrington is back. We look forward to this one.